chapter 9, verse 13. It's different for the other 6 trumpets. Why? Read it. Please read. Revelation chapter 9. Revelation chapter 8, verse 13. Please open up please read for us. Anyone? Who has opened? Revelation chapter...
The angel flying through the gates of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, to the inhabitants,
as of the earth, for the reason of the seven voices of the other flesh. Okay, by reason of the voices of the trumpets of the other 3 angels. Understand this. The trumpet sound in the first 4 and the last 3 would have voices. Of course, that includes the 7. That includes the 7. But I'd like to point out the first 6, when they sounded, along came the voice. So the 2 prophets, when they gave a message about judgment here on earth, it will happen immediately. That's what I call a certain sound. Why is it certain? When they said it, it will happen. Will they get the attention of the world? Will they get the attention? Yes. Because it immediately happened. They even got angry because these 2 are cozies, 2 are terrorists. They're causing trouble on the earth. Now, in the church ages, I call that the uncertain sound because the tribulation for 7 years was stretched for 2,000 years, so that people don't realize, people wouldn't care, even if you prophesy, it's too stretched, too far out. They, like 2 Peter chapter 3, they scoff at you. They scoff at you because, where is the promise of His coming? You said this is the apocalypse. They sneer against you. So, they scoff against you. But, because the trumpet in the church ages is an uncertain sound. It does not get your attention. Those just words. Those are just accidental things. Now, if knowing this, understand in the tribulation period, when the 2 prophets gave a message, the 144,000 gave a message, it happens. Now, what about the 7th angel? They already gave the message, but it has not happened yet. The 7th angel trumpet, please read 11 verse 15. It will only take place at the end. And this is what I'm going to show. And of course, we will connect it to the midnight cry. Revelation 11:15. The 7th angel sounded, and there came voice from heaven saying, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and His Christ. I hope you could translate, learn to translate. Oh, you should learn to translate. You read in Tagalog, learn to translate. Okay, take note. The message that when it sounded, the kingdom changed hands. The earth changed hands. From the kingdom of darkness, it became the kingdom of light. Royal priesthood into His marvelous light. Now, here in the end time, at the end of the tribulation, that's when the 7th angel will sound. That's why He said here, when He shall begin to sound, the mystery of God. Well, it doesn't matter if it's church ages or revelations. The mystery of God should be finished. It's finished. There's no more mystery because change hands. Now what happened? Before the kingdom changed hands, was the kingdom announced? There are even groups that emphasize on the kingdom. Kibuloy, Armstrong, and even Jehovah's Witnesses. They emphasize on the kingdom, the message of the kingdom, the gospel of the kingdom. Also everyone. Doesn't matter, no? But which group? Doesn't matter. We're pre-millennialist, millennialist, or post-millennial. There's no post-millennials I've seen. But what I'm saying is the message came first before what? Before the trumpet sound. Okay, let's talk about the midnight cry. The whole church ages, there is a message.
Amen.
Do not think for a moment if the message only came at the end. Yes, there is a message at the end. But you have to go back. Bring out of your treasures things new and old. If you can see how the Spirit of God moved down through the ages, then you can see how it will move in your life, in your church. Do not for one moment think that you will just believe the New Testament and not ignore the Old Testament. Do not for one moment you will just receive sermons about the Laodicean church age and not go back to the Ephesian church age. The prophet said we would go back to what the original apostles taught. And the church ages is Christ's love letter to the church. It reveals what happened to the church. The same pitfalls that came to the churches. If you open that love letter, you receive the revelation of the love letter, then you can avoid the same pitfalls that has befallen the previous church. Midnight cry. Okay, before I continue, question.
Revelation 11:15, sabi na the seventh angel sounded and there were great voices in heaven saying, the kingdom of this world are become the kingdom of the Lord Jesus Christ, and His Christ, and He shall reign forever and ever. So ang tanong ko,
My question is,
it is the part of millennium, di ba?
it's the beginning of millennium.
At the beginning of millennium. So my question is, what kind of the kingdom they will rule?
A physical kingdom here on earth. Of course, some people are thinking of figurative kingdom. Kingdom of our hearts. Behold, the kingdom of God is within you. I wonder if you've heard that kind of reasoning. The kingdom of God is within you. Okay? It's a physical kingdom. It's a concrete kingdom. It's a physical kingdom that you will rule here on earth. Do not think for one moment God will just leave them alone. He will just continue on and on. It has already come, you just missed the rapture. The rapture has come, you just missed it. Christ has already come, you just missed it. Why would agree if it's in the Word? You could miss Christ through the Word because Christ came through the Word. Christ in the Spirit goes alongside with the Word. You have His Spirit if you progress in the Word. Now, if you have the Word, something will transform in your life. From the traditional ministry, you will change into the progressive ministry.
So, Francis, when Jesus Christ possessed the kingdom, at that day, at that time, all people are obedient to the ruler. Like
Yes, ruling like a rod of iron. What you should have been doing at home, in your children. Okay? The rod of iron, people have understood, but we don't have time to explain. The rod of iron at home will be similar to the millennial rod of iron. If you understand what that means. Because you're going to teach heavens. There will be no free time to go to any diversionary worldly things. Okay, let's go back to the midnight cry. The midnight cry is at the time when the darkest age, the church age. We're talking of the aspect of the church ages. In the aspect of the church ages, the midnight cry is a time of the dark ages. And there was a message and a call for the Reformation. The fourth watch. There are 4 quarters. The fourth watch is the time when the Reformation came out. So, the midnight cry continues up till today. If you consider Christianity as a whole, coming out of the Dark Ages. 1500s, Martin Luther, first watch, for 1,000 years. He you can easily subdivide 2,000 years, 4 watches, 4 quarters, each is 500 years. The fourth quarter, the fourth watch, that's where they get the word fourth watch, but it's in the Bible actually. In this fourth watch, this is the age of the Reformation. And within each church age, there is a midnight cry. Now let's talk about going out to meet Him. Prepare. What's happening in the middle of the church age? There is a move to go back to the Word. And they've been martyred because of that. They've been slaughtered all day long. There's a scripture there in Jeremiah. We've been slaughtered all day long. We've been killed all day long. We're like lambs, sheep led to the slaughter. So, as they come to this age, there is what we call the midnight cry, the final call to the bride. So, there is the voice of the seventh angel that applies to the tribulation period. There is a voice of the seventh angel that applies to the whole church age. And if you overlap these two, this is what the short half an hour silence others are focusing since 1963 until now, before the rapture comes. This is how they apply the days of the voice. But actually, there are two parallel versions of that. The uncertain sound and the certain sound. The uncertain sound is the whole church age. It's not just 1963. It's the whole church age. But going into the tribulation, when He shall begin to sound, there's a transitory part before you go to the actual fulfillment. And this is what they call the overlapping period. This is where they apply the midnight cry. This is where they apply the days of the voice. Again, the days of the voice is in the tribulation. The days of the voice is in the days of the voice is in the tribulation period, and the days of the voice is in the church ages. Now, the midnight cry has an application in the whole church age. The midnight cry also has an application in our time. So we have the prophet as the midnight cry here in the Laodicean church age. But how about the whole dark church ages? There is. Okay, my time might exceed the allotted time. How many minutes?
27.
Huh?
27.
37?
27.
Okay, I still have 3 minutes. Okay. Okay, question answer because I don't have any time. You can whisper question what is being talked about.
English. My question.
Question.
In Matthew 25 verse 6, what's about the foolish and the wise? And verse 11, who is this virgin? Come.
Again.
In Matthew 25, this wise and foolish. In verse 11, who is
Other
this?
virgins.
The other-
Who are the other virgins?
Well,
Other virgins in verse 11.
Oh, by the way, the other virgins are the ones that went to the marketplace to buy oil. Why?
no, hindi.
When you say other virgins, there are the virgins that came in with the wedding, that were joined with the wedding. There are the other virgins that were not able to catch up with the wedding. By the way, does wise and foolish virgin apply also to the church ages? I ask all of you.
Yes.
Does it apply? Yes. There are. And even there's another, we don't have much time, but there's a relationship between foolish and wise. Before you became wise, you were foolish before. But there's a span of time where there is a cutoff that the foolish will not catch up. There will be foolish that will be left behind. Okay, question. But we don't have much time. Tell me how many minutes left.
1.
Okay, question. Exactly close it after.
The Malakay, there is a gentle Malakay.